once you get me started talking about hair, be prepared to wait for a while because I could just go on and on, okay? So get your snacks, get your water, get your juice. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to have you here again. And today I'm going to be sharing the mistakes that I made in my first natural hair journey and also what I'm not bringing into my second hair journey. I've officially technically been natural for 12 years, but I did not start taking care of my hair until like 2015. And that's when I had big chopped from heat damage, right? The first time. And from there, I had a natural hair journey for 9 years. And recently, I've had to restart my hair journey. So I'm starting a second hair journey because of heat damage. Again, crazy, I know. Going into this first mistake was getting silk presses by people who are not experienced with my hair type or by people who don't care to maintain the health of my curls. There are a lot of people who provide silk presses as a service, for sure. Not as many people provide silk presses as a service and also seek to maintain the health of your curls, coils, and kinks. There are people who will straighten your hair and all they care about is how straight it looks, how silky it looks, and how quickly it gets done. They will not care about maintaining the health of your hair and ensuring that it doesn't get heat damaged. They just want to get their job done, okay? I've actually made that mistake twice now. Of course, the first time it happened, I was 14 years old. I was just a kid, and a hairstylist, a professional hairstylist, had given me a silk press for the first time. I loved it. Baby, best believe I was swinging that hair. And then it came time to wash my hair. And at this time, I didn't even know that I had curls. I just knew it was thick and it was textured. That was all I knew. But when I washed my hair, I noticed the back part of my hair was completely bone straight. And the rest of my hair was like these wavy curls. And that's when I had first experienced heat damage. I just want to say, when it comes to heat damage, I'm of the belief that you cannot reverse it. You cannot reverse heat damage. You have to just cut it off, okay? I know people have their opinions, but you can't reverse heat damage. So at that point, I realized I had to start transitioning. I wasn't ready to like go completely short yet. So I grew my hair out over a few months, and then I had no like exact timeline. In fact, I was honestly thinking I was just gonna rock my hair and like transition for as long as possible. But at this time I was living in Australia. That would have been the perfect time to big chop anyways, because I wasn't around as much people. I was being homeschooled and you know, I was outside of the States. That would have been the perfect time. So, but eventually I realized, since I didn't really have the products I needed, I didn't have protein treatments, I didn't have like bond repair, which is super popular now. I didn't have anything to really strengthen my hair. Like I tried the eggs and mayo. Best believe I did try that. It didn't work. I ended up frying the eggs in my hair, but that's another story. But anyways, I didn't have apogee, I didn't have anything really, so I just big chopped early on, right? Here, present day, I had the heat damage. If you want to see my heat damage horror story, I'm gonna try to link the heat damage story time somewhere so that you can watch it if you want to get the full backstory. In April, I went to a hairstylist, and this was for like hair modeling. So I would be getting my hair done just for her to build her clientele, right? So this was the second time that I had experienced a hairstylist like this. I was not thinking about all the risks. When it comes to natural hairstyles, the riskiest by far has to be the silk press, because the risk of extreme heat damage, you never even know. It could be the type of silk press that goes completely right. Maybe like the stylist does one pass, it goes completely right, your hair is healthy, and then you can end up with severe heat damage. That's the thing when it comes to silk presses. Of course, going to someone who knows what they're doing will minimize that risk. That is by far the biggest mistake that I've made, because I was doing very well with my natural hair journey at that point. It's just this one mistake just changed everything to where I have to completely start over again. I know plenty of people are about to get their silk presses this season, or maybe they've already gotten their silk presses. I just want y'all to be very careful. That's why I shared my story time, because a lot of people are about to get their silk presses and they're not thinking about it. They're just thinking about wanting their hair straight. They're just wanting that silkiness, but they're not thinking about the risks that come with it. And I want y'all to learn from me. I don't want y'all to feel the pain that I've been feeling this past 7, 8 months. I don't want y'all to feel the same pain. So if you feel uneasy going into an appointment, trust your gut. Because I was feeling uneasy going into my appointment. If you're very scared about this and you want to maintain the health of your curls, tell your stylist 1 pass only. And if you notice that they're doing multiple passes, be sure to speak up and let them know again. And if they don't follow it, then you can get out of their chair. I fully encourage you to get into Karen mode, because it's your hair. It's your head of hair. They don't have to deal with it after you leave their chair. You're the one who has to deal with it after you leave their chair. But if they damage your hair, you're the one who's left to clean up the mess. Like, yes, you can leave a complaint, you can leave a bad review, you can try to call them, you can get them to apologize, but the apology, none of that's gonna mean anything. Your hair is gonna be damaged and you have to be left to deal with it and grow it back out. So be very careful. One mistake I made was not getting professional trims. I know a lot of people, they don't like going to get their hair trimmed by professional hairstylists because maybe they've had experiences where hairstylists have trimmed more than what was necessary and they've ended up leaving with a haircut. And I totally get it. I have hairstylist trauma myself. Clearly. As a child, I would get braids all the time, okay? I'm African. I would go to African hair braiders, and a lot of them, at least at the time, they did not care about the health of my hair either. So my edges were pulled out. I would end up with like tension on my head would hurt, and it was just a whole lot of high tension. There would be times I would be going to get a specific hairstyle and I wouldn't get the hairstyle that I wanted. And that would also be a thing where it's like, what are y'all doing? I'm just gonna go do it myself. So I do understand. There are good hairstylists, and I will forever stand on that, okay? There are hairstylists that will care for your hair like no other, and they will love on your hair, and you won't have to feel unsafe or uneasy when you're with them. Sometimes you could live in an area and you won't even be able to find that. Like for me, I live in Arizona. It is very hard to find good hairstylists here. I had a great hairstylist that recently moved away. Every time I think about it, I'm just like, I miss her so much. When I had first gone to her, this was after years of doing my own trims, right? When you do your own trims, if you don't have expertise in it and you're just cutting what you see, sometimes you miss things. And what I had noticed the first time she did my hair, she took a picture of my hair and my ends were horrible. See-through, there was breakage going up to the mid shaft. So that's why professional trims are useful. Of course, it is up to you. If you feel like your hair is still at its healthiest while you do it yourself, that is completely up to you. But a mistake I made was not getting my professional trims. Like, I started my hair journey in 2015. I was supposed to get waist-length hair. From what I was seeing on the internet, I was supposed to get waist-length hair by 2019. I did not get waist-length hair by 2019. I did not get waist-length hair until this year. That's why I consider it like a mistake, because had I gone to someone who knew what they were doing in the beginning or midway, I could have reached like the healthiest and the longest hair ever much quicker. But it took me a longer amount of time because I was just doing it on myself. Now granted, I was a broke college student, so there wasn't much I could do about it. But it also, I live in Arizona, so there weren't that many natural hair stylists from the time I moved here until, like, honestly the past couple years there have been more popping up, but it was very hard to find natural hair stylists. The next mistake I made also ties into me not being able to reach my length goals in the amount of time I would have liked. And it has to do with like my hair care practices. Like in the beginning I was doing wash and goes mostly, and then I started doing braid outs. When I was in college, I would do the braid outs over the weekend, and how I would do them was, this was like 2019, 2020. After my wash day, right, I would braid up my hair with like my moisturizing products first. No stylers. I would just braid up my hair to stretch it. And then the very next day, I would unbraid, and then I would braid my hair again with my stylers, and then I would leave it to set. And then when Monday morning would come along, I would be heading out to my classes or to work or whatever. So basically I would braid my hair twice in a span of 2 days, and then take down my hair Monday morning, right? And I would rock my hair loose. That's how I preferred it. And I would have my hair rubbing on my cotton shirt or whatever, and I would come back home, right? And before I would go to bed, you know what I would do? I would spritz my hair in sections, add my stylers again, and I would re-braid up my hair so that my hair would be freshly defined for the next day. And you know what I would do the next day? I would do the exact same thing. Thinking about it now, I'm just like, what was I doing? It was like severe over manipulation, right? Just so I could get the same definition, when in fact I had the wrong technique. And I would also like big hair, so my braid outs just weren't lasting past a day, right? I also did not have a good nighttime routine. Of course now I know how to maintain a braid out, but back then I didn't really know, and I would just try to re-braid every night. We need to free ourselves from wanting super defined hair all the time, okay? Our hair is textured, so that texture is gonna come out over the course of the week, and we have to accept it for what it is. It's gorgeous either way, so like, yeah. So my next mistake was wearing my hair in a curly, coily state, which would give my hair time to wrap around itself and cause single strand knots, okay? So like I had already mentioned before, I had severe split ends and breakage, and I also had a lot of single strand knots, and I also had like mid shaft split ends, so like splits in the middle of the hair. A lot of it was caused by how I would style my hair, right? And I'm not saying that, oh, if you have type 4 hair or curly coily hair, you need to do this. But for me personally, once I started blow drying my hair every wash day, so once a week, I would blow dry my hair after washing and deep conditioning, and then I would braid my hair into 2 pigtails, so 2 cornrows, one here, and I would leave my hair like that for a few days. And I would use like shea butter typically. I still love shea butter. And I would leave my hair like that. The 1 year that I did that, when I tell you my hair grew so much, that's how I got to the healthiest and longest hair I've ever had. By stretching my hair once a week, my hair got the thickest, the healthiest, the longest. I was in love. I was in love. This was last year. I started using my Rev Air, and that is low tension. There's no risk of heat damage, and that was literally the perfect way for me to stretch my hair. And I do wish I got more time to enjoy that routine before my hair got ruined. I would do wash and goes here and there. I would do wash and goes like once a month. But to be honest, I wasn't much of a wash and go girly, so I was fine with doing it once a month. A mistake I made was not enjoying more natural hairstyles. Y'all know I'm very much a braid out girl. I love braid outs from infinity to infinity. I also always wanted to master wash and goes, but I just could not get them right to where like they would last and my hair wouldn't feel dry throughout the week. I finally learned how to do wash and goes last year, right around this time actually. It was November last year when I finally learned how to do wash and goes. That time was cut short because I only had 6 months and then I got heat damage. I really wish that I had more time to experiment with them. I truly believe, like of course in the beginning of my hair journey, I did not like my shrinkage. It felt like so much, and it felt like my hair was so short, and I have had a lot of shrinkage throughout my entire hair journey. Even now with the heat damage, I have a lot of shrinkage. So I just wanted to do everything in my power to stretch out my curls and make sure my hair wasn't in a shrunken state. So I did not get to enjoy wash and goes as much, and I didn't also try to even master wash and goes. I believe if I did master wash and goes, I would have been fine with the shrinkage, but again, my hair would feel dry, I would get single strand knots, and I didn't know how to make them last. I also wish I could have really mastered twist outs. I have tried twist outs a lot throughout my journey, but I couldn't get them to turn out how the other naturals twist outs come out, and that's one thing I still want to master. I just feel like my twist outs always looked like frizzy, and I wanted more definition. I'm gonna insert a picture of my ideal twist out. I want to be able to get a twist out like this. So pretty, so beautiful. I'm obsessed. I love it. I also wish I had experienced more with rod sets. With the flexi rods, I just could not get them right. Of course, now I know how to do flexi rods. It's so crazy how I learned how to do wash and goes. I learned how to do perm rod sets all last year, like towards the end of last year, and I didn't even get to enjoy them as long as I would have liked because of the heat damage. I mastered a flexi rod set last December. I mastered perm rod sets in April. Literally the week before I got the heat damage, my birthday week. My best perm rod set I've ever had to date. Definitely get out of your comfort zone. I know there are a lot of people that love only twist outs, so maybe try braid outs. We should be encouraging each other and sharing ideas so that we can all learn how to do these styles, because sometimes it's not even that we hate these styles. Like I used to think I hated wash and goes. I thought they just weren't for my hair, and while I do believe that type 4 hair or kinky curly hair does thrive in styles that are not wash and goes, I believe it thrives with stretch state hairstyles. I still wish I could have enjoyed them, you know? The final mistake that I made on my hair journey was listening to only, keyword only, natural hair YouTubers, natural hair influencers, and not looking to the advice of licensed cosmetologists and licensed trichologists, cosmetic chemists. We cannot only listen to people who are just sharing their own experiences, because for that reason, those are their own experiences. So again, what works for one person might not work for you. It honestly held me back in my journey, because I would try to follow what somebody else is saying that they're doing, but there are other factors at play that they're not even thinking about that would stop me from reaching my goals based off of their routine. Like there are genetics, there are like things like lifestyle, how they wear their hair throughout the week. So if they like keep their hair tucked away for the week and then they wear it out on the weekend, that would obviously lead to more length retention. But if they wear their hair out all through the week, but they have good genetics, then maybe they'll still be able to retain length and be fine, right? But me, I don't have long hair in my genetics, so I'm not gonna see those same results following that kind of routine. Also, when it comes to listening to people who are licensed and study the science of hair care, you learn that even though there are natural hair products, you'll see that there's a lot of overlap between products for our hair and products for people with wavy hair or straight hair. And I know that a lot of us were told, or we believe, that we should only use products that are just for natural hair. But you can use products that are formulated for all hair types. You can, like Redken. I just used Redken this past wash day. Loved it. Loved it. You can use products that are recommended by experts, okay? And of course you can't trust every single expert, but you know, do your research and understand their methodology and how they go about things. Take what you need. You take things with a grain of salt. You look at things with a critical eye. I think that's it for all the mistakes that I've made. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any mistakes that you have made, let me know in the comments. If you have made similar mistakes, let's talk about it. This is a safe space. Yeah, learn from me. Learn from me. But anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great week. I'll see you sometime. All right, bye. Basically, I was trying to add heat, and my hair was underneath the cap with the eggs on it, right? So I used my blow dryer to add heat, and the egg was frying because of the heat. I didn't think about that back then, but that's exactly what happened.